Hey my good friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. Today we are looking at the recently fresh 2022 Lexus ES350 midsize luxury sedan. So we're going to have a look at it inside and out. We're going to take it for a test drive, and then I'm going to tell you what I really think. Before we get out on the drive, let's have a look at what we've got. For 2022, they gave the Lexus ES350 a few upgrades. One of the reasons is because the larger and more expensive GS sedan is no longer in existence. So now Lexus only has three sedans, that being the IS, the entry point, the ES, the midpoint, and the big luxury LS for the top of the line. So they really sort of had to freshen this up and make this a little bit more fitting into the shoes of the GS. So as tested, we are at $54,000 for our Ultra Luxe model here. What's new for 2022 is a slightly redesigned set of grills across the trim grade. Standard on this are bi-LED headlights, a new design, and on this one optioned are the triple beam LED headlights. And you can really see a lot of detail in the grille work and the headlights, and that's something that's always been a hallmark of Lexus. As we come around the corner, the wheels on this one are a beautiful satin finish, 18-inch alloy wheel. This does have the panoramic roof, and that does have an opening front section. And as we get to the rear, you can see that the window line just has a nice, well-crafted look. This is a power opening trunk lid. Press a button that opens. You can press a button that will automatically close. The taillights on this, as expected, are LED, and they're nicely put together with a piece of trim in the middle. And looking down into the lower fascia, you can see some handsomely designed rear exhaust outlets. Now, they're not entirely real, but they're not entirely fake. You can see that exhaust does blow through them, but the exhaust pipe is actually a separate piece. What you're looking at as far as the trim piece is actually separate, but handsome nonetheless. The interior of this particular Lexus ES has a very nice color combination of black and sort of a nice caramel color. A lot of beautiful materials in here, as I've come to expect with Lexus, especially on their Highline trims. Here, there are soft trims literally everywhere you touch, the dash, the door panels. And look at the center console. This actually has sort of a pleated finish in the soft trim, and you see that duplicated on the door panels as well. It's just a nice little detail. Genuine wood trim. Now this is sort of a black open pore finish that you can see in the door panels and across the dash. Because we are in the Ultra Luxe here, semi-aniline leather on these beautiful seats. These are both heated and ventilated. I find very comfortable. Now if you step up to the F Sport, you get a different seating scenario there, but these are very supportive, I have found, both on long drives and just around town. Steering wheel has a nice wood insert, has paddle shifters on it, and ahead of the steering wheel is a digital instrument cluster that does have some dials built into it, so it's a little bit of both. And it is customizable for different information sets. Looking over here to the center stack, a large infotainment screen. Below that, HVAC controls and some hard controls for the audio system. And down below that, a number of switches and controls for the seats and some other things. I love that they've retained a traditional shifter here instead of going to some kind of a dial or other such thing. While there's not a lot of storage and cup holders here, there is a single cup holder here, ports down next to it for your auxiliary and USB. Behind that is the touch controller for the infotainment system. And off to the side here, another bin which can be a cup holder or a place to put your phone. Center console storage on this is a little bit hampered because here they have a Qi wireless charger inside of it, but there still is room for a square Kleenex box in there. And interestingly enough, this actually opens both ways. Kind of a nice touch. One of the reasons SUVs have become so popular, not only for livery, limo, and taxi services, but in the driveways in America, is because people have come to realize that sitting in the back of a traditional sedan can sometimes be less comfortable. And so while there's plenty of space back here, as you can see, these seats set for my height, about 5'8", 5'9", depending on boots or shoes. I've got plenty of leg room, no problem there, but I am sitting down quite low. My knees are perched up like this, and it just doesn't quite feel like a natural seating position. These seats do have good side support. There is a center seat here, a fold-down armrest, and it does have cup holders built in, so it does have that ability to be comfortable for long rides. There are vents back here in addition to 2 USB charging ports and a 12-volt port. Almost an expected thing in the back seat of any vehicle today. The trunk here, very large, very sizable, and underneath there is a spare tire. Always a good thing. Some of the features that make this very luxurious for your rear passengers include this panoramic moonroof, which does give some beautiful vistas from back here and gives a sense of airiness. But if that's the opposite of what you want, you can shut that, make it dark, and there are sunshades back here on the rear windows, here on the main one and on the little quarter window in the back, and there is a power sunshade for that main back window. So shut everything up, you can make this a nice dark cocoon that you can relax in. When it comes to rating this interior, very impressed with the material quality, the design, the comfort, the switchgear quality, and the controls. This is a place that you expect to be comforting and relaxing if you're spending up for a luxury car, and Lexus achieves that. This interior gets 5 out of 5 stars. The infotainment system for 2022 has been completely redesigned. It's been moved rearward toward the driver and is now a touch screen. Standard is an 8-inch screen. Here optioned is the 12.3-inch large screen. And as you can see, there's a lot to look at. It looks very large sitting here, but it does have the functionality of a touchscreen, which is very important because this has the trackpad that Lexus has in most all their cars now. And it just doesn't work as good as the old mechanical puck used to. It's not as intuitive, and so you can slide around and miss your targets when you're driving. When you hit bumps here, you can just put your finger right on them and use that as a touch screen. This has the upgraded Mark Levinson audio system, which also includes a CD player in addition to Sirius XM, AM, FM, Bluetooth connectivity, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Of course, the latter two are not wireless at this point. You still have to plug in to use those, but the audio quality here, so good. Very much worth the upgrade for the Mark Levinson audio system. And here, it's only about a $1,000 upgrade. Excellent. The only problem with this system that I found is, as I mentioned, this touchpad really isn't the funnest thing to use, and the fact that we don't have all the connectivity that we've come to expect in some of the other brands. This system gets 4 out of 5 stars. All right, my friends, now it's time to go for a drive. And if you watch my videos, you know one of the questions I always love to ask is, how does it go? So we're out here in the middle of nowhere, nobody around, and go. Woo! Got the tires spinning just a little bit, and 60. Now, do you notice how quiet this is? 3.5 liter V6, 302 horsepower, and it comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission, identical to the engine and transmission found in the very popular Toyota Camry sedan. And here, with perhaps some additional sound deadening, it's very quiet and very refined. And the best part about it is it doesn't have an auto start-stop system. So it offers peacefulness and no interruption of your aura when you're driving around in traffic. When it comes to fuel efficiency, it's rated at 22 city, 32 highway, pretty impressive, and 26 combined. Also pretty impressive for a medium range luxury sedan. Now, in my week with it, I got 25 mpg, which is not quite as expected, but the air conditioner's on. It's still winter in Phoenix. So overall, I'm very impressed with this powertrain. 4.5 out of 5 stars. When it comes to ride, drive, and handling, this thing does everything you'd expect from a luxury car. It's quiet, it's solid, it's supple. It feels very refined. I don't get any kind of harshness from the suspension going over bumps, around corners, going over manhole covers, things like that. And out here on the open road, this is one of the more quiet cars we've tested. Wind noise is very low, even with this moonroof. And around town, it does offer enough of a firm suspension for cornering, and these big tires do give it plenty of grip. So even though this does have a soft ride when it comes to going over some of those rougher bumps and undulations, it's not so soft that it hurts the handling in a way that is less than the expectations of today. But it does have just a slight bit of float. Nonetheless, this is a chassis that impresses me very much. It's a driving experience that meets my expectations of a luxury car. This chassis gets 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right, my friends, now let's talk about value. And that is a good topic for the ES350. Lexus has always been a brand known for the quality and reliability that Toyota brings to the table with the Lexus luxury and dealership experience. And now that the Lexus GS is no longer in the showroom, this is a vehicle that has to fill those shoes. And with a lot of the updates and added features that have come for 2022, I think they've done a good job at doing that. So when we look at the price at $55,000, give or take, nearly fully loaded, I think this is a good value. And the options pricing, I was very surprised when I looked at what they're charging for the options, because they used to hit you a little harder for that. The Mark Levinson audio system, for instance, $1,000 upgrade. That used to be $3,000 and $4,000 on a lot of Lexus vehicles to upgrade to the audio system, and it's well worth it at that price. It's certainly worth it at $1,000. So I think they've done a good job here. The quality is impeccable. Warranty coverage, not the best in the business, but it is above average. And so when I look at value, I put that at 5 out of 5 stars. When you put that in with everything we've already talked about, we're at 4.5 stars for the review. Excellent. Definitely worth a look. So if you like the video you just saw, please see our latest one right there, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel right down there.